What's up, all in? What's going on, guys? What's up, YouTube family? Yeah, checking in this stream real quick. We are gonna do a quick playoff preview in my Madden League called All In. The guys on the group page, you already know what we're doing. I already told you what I was gonna do. But this is the look at the current picture of the playoffs right now. As of the moment, the Buffalo Bills has the number 1 seed. The Cleveland Browns have the 2 seed. The Colts have the 3rd. They clinched the AFC South. Congratulations to Antheus and the Indianapolis Colts for winning the division. The 4th seed is KD Baylor, the Denver Broncos. Currently, they're matched up with the 5th seed, which is the Baltimore Ravens. The next matchup would be Antheus and the Indianapolis Colts against the Jets, led by Coach Ryan Burns, who's probably going to be Coach of the Year. Turned that Jets team around. Shout out to you, buddy. And then, of course, Coach Shaq Washington taking on Coach Brian Gordon, the Pittsburgh Steelers, at number 7. As far as the AFC, let's go over to them. It's going to go over real quick to highlight San Francisco. Okay, there we go. Number 1 seed right now is the San Francisco 49ers, led by Coach Antoine Carroll. With the 2 seed being Coach Justin Gamage and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're currently projected to play Coach Bino and the Seattle Seahawks. At number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles that are currently leading the division by Coach Ty Ellis is going to take on Coach Shane Trotter and the Carolina Panthers. And last but not least, Coach Malik Francois and the Green Bay Packers are matched up right now at 4 against Coach Jay Lee and the LA Rams. But a lot is going to take place in the next couple of weeks. A lot is already taking place, especially in the NFC East race. So I'm going to go there first, just to go ahead and get it out of the way. But let's go back to the main screen and let it come up on there. We'll let it get to the schedule on YouTube first. Of course, I'm on a couple minutes ahead. Just to kind of give you guys a heads up, the New York Giants won their ball game against the Dallas Cowboys with a score of 56-21 to get to 8-6. They are now in a 4-race slugfest in that division. Their division is now possibly a 3 to 4 man race because of that win. Just to give you another look at some of the other teams on the board, Jets and Dolphins is game of the week, and I will go into detail why that is going to be game of the week. I'm sure a lot of folks are like, they're 5-8. Why do you have them as game of the week? But I'm going to explain that as well. As you see a couple other games, Green Bay, who's leading the NFC North, have to take on Baltimore Ravens, who are currently 9-3-1. Madden has a dumb moment, so this course is not going to show it the correct way. You got the Broncos and the Bengals that have to play against each other. The Rams and the Seahawks have a matchup. That's going to be huge as far as the playoff picture and as far as even the NFC West picture. You got the 49ers that get a forced win. The Bucs will get a forced win this week from the schedule. The Steelers will get back to 500. They got a force against the Tennessee Titans. The Panthers and Bills, they have a big game coming up. And as you see above, the Washington football team is going to be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles for a trip to get in first place in the NFC East. So before we go into that, let's go back to the standings. I want to go to the standings and show you guys what's taking place. Let's go back to the main screen. Let me get up to let's start with the NFC first. Facebook user, I'm sure this is Bino, said the Seahawks get the force win too. No, they do not. They do not. You got to play them games. Currently, the 49ers are the number 1 seed at 11-2. You have the Buccaneers, who are also who are tied at 11-2. They have the same record as the 49ers, so that's going to be a race to pay attention to. Also, below them, you have the LA Rams, who are tied for first place with the 49ers. They're 11-2. That division is far from over. The next couple weeks is going to determine that division title right there. Also, you got Carolina at 10-3. They are currently the number 6 seed in the NFC because it's just how stacked this conference has been this year. Also at 10-3, you got the Seattle Seahawks, who are also 10-3. They're going to make the playoffs. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. As the way it is setting up, there are going to be 3 teams out the NFC West that'll make the playoffs, which that will essentially eliminate several teams on the back end as far as the wild card. Now let's keep going down the list. The Eagles currently lead the division at 8-5. They got a big game with Washington football team today or tomorrow, depending on when they play by, of course, by advance. Then you got the Dallas Cowboys, who suffered a big loss last night against the New York Giants, who, again, if you watched the first playoff hunt stream, then you saw me talk about the fact they were on a big-time rally from behind, and they made it happen. The Arizona Cardinals, who is the next team on the list, at 7-6. Unfortunately, it's gonna look a little bleak for them to make the playoffs after that loss last week against the Rams. They're just getting ready for the offseason because this conference is just way too stacked, unfortunately. Next on the board, the New York Giants. As you see, the Giants were 4-6 at one point. They have won their last 4 games. Now they are 8-6. That NFC East race just got real interesting real quick. So be on the lookout for that. Next on the board is the Washington football team. They are 7-6. They lost game of the week last week against Coach Tyreek Johnson and the Dallas Cowboys to be currently at 7-6. They have a chance to still make it up. They got several division games left. Also on the board, the last 2 teams. This is the NFC North race. Let's get down to them. Green Bay right now leads the division at 6-7, but they will be playing the Baltimore Ravens at some point between today and tomorrow. That's going to play a big factor in whether they win the division or not, because right behind them are the Minnesota Vikings, who are now 6-8. They won their last 3 games. So the Vikings are in a nail biter with the Packers. They're going to play at some point to see who wins the division. Someone said NFC North is Fitz's Jesus division. Yes, we are. We all miss the playoffs, but somebody got to get in. Okay, now let's start by going to the NFC North first, as I mentioned earlier. Once again, let's go to the Fitz Jesus division, which is the NFC North. The Green Bay Packers are 6-7, with the Vikings at 6-8. On a 3-game winning streak. These two have to play in the next 2 weeks. I'm sure the winner of that game will more than likely win the division title. And of course, the Lions and Bears, they're fixing Jesus in general, so they're getting ready for the offseason. On to the South. Let's click over to the NFC South. Give us a second. The number 2 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 11-2. But because they took a loss to the Buffalo Bills last week, that opens the title. That opens a huge race up now for the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers got the Buffalo Bills at home. They're going to Buffalo this upcoming week. So the Panthers are currently 10-3. The Bucs and Panthers play 2 of the final 3 games. That division is not over by any means. The division is not over. Let's go look at the division status for both teams. Here's another interesting factor. Just wait till it comes up on the screen, and I'm going to show everyone. Okay, as you see, both the Panthers and Bucs are 3-0 in the NFC South. Whoever wins the head-to-head between those two will win the division. Plain and simple. That's what it's coming down to. Because even if the Buffalo Bills do get a win against the Carolina Panthers, he still have 3 divisional games left. He's going to get a forced win against the Saints. And I think the Bucs have a force against the Saints coming up too. So both teams are in key position to battle out for that division title. And also that's going to take a big shake into the playoff picture for the NFC. So that's the South. Moving on to the NFC East. This is where all the action is taking place right now. This division is far from over. Let's go all the way over. As you can see, the Philadelphia Eagles are on a 2-game losing streak. They have a big game against Washington today or tomorrow. Winner of that game puts himself in a better position. Now, Philadelphia, if they can win that game, they all but eliminate Nick Green and the Washington football team from the playoffs. That'll be it for them, even though they got divisional games left. That'll be putting them in bad position. However, If Nick Green and the Washington football team pulls that win off, the entire division, as you can see, the Cowboys and Giants are both 8-6 as well, will be 8-6. Next week, if the Washington football team wins the game, the leader of the NFC East is the New York Giants. So Coach Darrell Mason and the Giants will be in first place if Washington wins this week. As you can see by the divisional standings, the Washington football team has 4 games left in division. All their games are left within each other. They're going to beat each other up. And three teams going to miss the playoffs in that division. Let's just get that out of the way. 3 teams going to miss the playoffs. Good records, not making the playoffs. As you can see, Dallas has played 4 of their 6 games. They got 2 left in the division. So it's going to be intriguing to see their schedule. We're going to go to their schedule soon. Philadelphia has only played 2 divisional games. Their last 4 is in the division. So once again, like I said, the East is going to beat up on each other the rest of the way to the postseason. And last but not least, back and currently in 4th place are Nick Green in Washington. They have only played 2 divisional games. Once again, that's 4 games left in the division for the division title. So let's see what happens with them. And the wildest division of them all, the NFC West. Let's go to them. Currently, right now, Coach Antoine Carroll and the San Francisco 49ers are the number 1 seed in the NFC. But here's the tricky thing about this. Rams are currently 11-2 as well. They got to play each other week 18. That could be for the division title. So that's going to be a game to watch out for. That could be division title / number 1 seed game. But here's the tricky thing. Neither the Rams or 49ers can afford to drop any game prior to that week 18 matchup because Seattle right now held the sweep over the 49ers. If the Seahawks can somehow beat the Rams, they have a strong shot at the number 1 seed in the NFC. Yes, you heard me correctly. They have a strong shot at the number 1 seed. They won the head-to-head against the 49ers. That's going to be something to watch out for. But Jay Lee can make it where they only a wild card team. He wins this game this week and keeps himself into the number 1 seed race. So once again, there has been no playoff spots clinched, as you can see in the NFC. We know those 3 are going to make the playoffs. The question is going to be where they will go. Because at this moment, it looks like the 1 seed's coming out of this division. But let's go look at the divisional race that's left. Let's see how many division games are remaining. Right now, the 49ers have 1. Let's go put it up here on the screen. Okay. The Niners have 1 divisional game remaining. So they don't have any way of making up ground as far as the West. They got swept by the Seahawks. But other than that, they don't have any more divisional games left. As far as the Rams, let's go to the Rams. The Rams got 2 divisional games left as well, but they have the best record in the NFC West at the moment. They are 3-1. If they can get a dub against the Seattle Seahawks, that eliminates Seattle from having a shot at the 1 seed, which would put the Rams at a great opportunity at the number 1 seed, although their only loss came to – now here's the tricky part about this. If the 49ers and Rams both win this upcoming week, the Rams jump to the number 1 seed in the NFC. Why? Because the Niners have 2 divisional losses and the Rams have 1. So again, if you're the 49ers, you're rooting for the Seahawks. Although at the same time, if the Rams do find a way to lose to the Seahawks, Seattle jumps to first place. No, I'm wrong. Let's take that back. They will jump to the number 2 spot in the NFC West because they will be 3-2. But it will be still between Jay Lee and Antoine Carroll to see what happens for that divisional title. So this is your NFC West race. Now let's go to all those teams that we just mentioned. Let's go to their schedule. So you can kind of see who has what remaining. I want to start off with since we're here at the Vikings, we'll just do this Vikings real quick. Okay, so Let me get down to them. Give us a second. It's delayed on YouTube. Okay, so next week they got the Rams in Minnesota, so that's going to be a big game. Week 17 is for the NFC North title against Green Bay at Green Bay, and then week 18 is against the Chicago Bears. That's what they're going to be looking at going forward. Now, on to Seattle. Week 15, we got Seattle heading to LA to play the Rams. After that, week 16, although it is showing a force right now for Seattle, Justin Brown's been on the spoiler alert play. He's been trying to spoil somebody. So it's going to be interesting to see, can he pull off a spoiler alert. Week 17 is an absolute force win. They got the Lions. The Lions are fixing Jesus right now, so we're going to get them out the way. And last but not least, in week number 18 is Tevin Ratcliffe and the Cardinals. I don't know if he's going to try to play spoiler at some point, but that would be the remaining schedule for the Seahawks going forward. Let's go to the Rams. As I mentioned one more time, let's go wait till the Rams come up. As far as the Rams, the Seattle game is this week. Again, next week is a showdown at Minnesota against Coach Nate Butler and the Minnesota Vikings. That's going to be an interesting game to see for those two teams there. Although Coach Lee leads the all-time, he's never lost the all-time matchup against those two. Moving to week 17 is going to be game of the week, just to give you guys a heads up. It's going to be the Oak Cliff SC battle between Coach Jay Lee and Coach Kyle Miller. They're going to go to the Ravens and play them. And last but not least, the biggest showdown right now in the regular season coming up in week 18. Again, Rams-Niners in LA. So let's be on the lookout for that game. I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup in a couple of weeks. Let's move on to the Niners. Let's go down to the Niners to see who they got remaining. So the Niners don't have, let's wait, let me give you a second. I'm a little bit ahead. The Niners do not have a game coming up until week 18. So Coach Antoine Carroll, he has to get focused because at this moment, it looks as if the battle between the one seed is going to come down to him and Jay Lee because their next three matchups, those teams are tanking. So he's going to be at 14 wins before it's all said and done with a shot for Jay Lee to actually wreck the picture. But let's see what happens with that. Now, on to the NFC East. The current leader is going to go into next week, which is going to be the New York Giants. Let's get up to them. Okay, 3 games left between them. The last 3 games remaining are at Philadelphia. They got Coach Justin Brown on the road at Chicago for a trip to see who wins that division. And then week 18, it is Coach Nick Green and the Washington football team, winner of that game. So again, as you see, there's 2 divisional games left. And then you got the worst team in football in Chicago right now, outside of Detroit. No jab at you, Justin Brown. So, hey, just the team. It's the team, not you. Anyways, let's move on. Philadelphia week. Let's go to Philadelphia. They're coming off the bye week. Let's get down to them. Last 4 games, you got Washington twice. These 2 are going to either eliminate each other or they're going to help one another by splitting. We'll see. So, Eagles last 4 games. Washington week 15 at home. Next week, Coach Darrell Mason and the Giants at home. Then they go week 17 to see Coach Nick Green one more time. Let's wait, let it go to 17. Now week 18, Coach Tyreek Johnson and the Dallas Cowboys will await them week 18. So their last 4 is in the division. Let's go to the Cowboys and see what they have left. Okay, the Cowboys are reeling off of that loss last night to the New York Giants. Their last 3 is against Nick Green and the Washington football team. They got to win the game of the week 2 weeks ago. Then they got Coach Tevin Ratcliffe and the Cardinals, who still could be playing for upsets. So that could be week 17. And then week 18, Coach Ty Ellison and Philadelphia Eagles is week 18. So again, 2 of their last 3 is in the division. And last but not least, the Washington football team. Now, again, they have an opportunity to either shake the race up or one loss eliminates them from the race all the way around. They have 2 remaining against the Eagles. They got 1 week 16 against Coach Tyreek Johnson and the Dallas Cowboys at Dallas. And then the final game of the year is going to be week 18 against Coach Darrell Mason and the New York Giants. So we're just going to give y'all a heads up. What's going on, buddy? He checking in. He's the Bengals user. He said, let's go Bengals. We're going to get to the AFC momentarily. Let's go to the NFC South where the other race is still remaining. Let's go down to Carolina first. Okay. They have week 15 at Buffalo. Coach Anthony P. and those Buffalo Bills can shake that race up in the NFC as well if they get a win against the Panthers. And as you see, 2 of the final 3 games are in against the Buccaneers. Winner of those 2 games win the division. You see the 4th win they're going to get against the Saints, who is taken in week 17. Moving on to the Buccaneers. Let's get down to the bottom of the board. Okay, here we go. Same scenario. They have the Saints coming up. They got a force against the Saints. 2 of their last 3 against the Panthers. And at New York, who is going to also be mentioned shortly, they're in the playoff picture as far as the AFC. But he said it is NFC Wild. Yes, it is. The NFC is going to be up for grabs. The next 3 weeks will determine what happens to the NFC. The NFC is far from over. Now, I think I'll cover all the teams in the NFC. Let's go back to the status. Let's get started on the AFC. I see another comment coming in saying the NFC is kind of wild. Yes, it is. The NFC, you can blame Jay Lee. Jay Lee handpicked this conference, and boy, what a wild conference. But it's a fun one. I like to see the competition in the NFC. Let's get to the AFC. All right, starting off with the Buffalo Bills, who are 12-1. The Bills are the number 1 seed at the current moment. I need to see. Let me check and see why they're the number 1 seed at the current moment. Let's get a look at this thing. They are the number 1 seed right now because, let me let it come up on the screen. They have one more AFC win than the Cleveland Browns. So the Browns are only short from being a number 1 seed because of that. So that's the breakdown of this. Now, let's go back to the board. Let me go back all the way over. Number 3 seed is Coach Antheus and the Indianapolis Colts. They are the only team that has won their division. That division is over. Congratulations to that coach. They're getting ready for a playoff game. It's all about seeding at this point for them. Skipping past the Ravens, the last division leader is the Denver Broncos. They're going to go on and win that division as well. They have a force against they have the Bengals. They play the Bengals either today or tomorrow. If they do win that game, that division is over as well. They will have 10 wins and the division will be wrapped. 5th seed right now, the current first-time wild card matchup could be the Baltimore Ravens and Coach Kyle Miller. They're 9-3-1. They are right now, they're out of it. They would need Coach Shaq in that Brown squad. They go on a losing streak to have any shot at this in the North, and they got swept. So let's get those things out the way. That division is over as well. It just doesn't show in the standings yet. Number 6 seed, Coach Ryan Burns and the New York Jets are 8-5 on the regular season. These guys are in great position to clinch that number 6 seed. Actually, it will be shocking if they don't clinch number 6 seed. If they can get a win in game of the week against the Dolphins today, they will have that number 6 seed locked up out in the AFC. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let's see. One of the comments said Ryan Burns. Yes, he should be coach of the year, hands down. If they don't give it to him in Madden, I'll give it to him and give him a +2. We'll go ahead and get out of the way. Now, Pittsburgh is going to be 7-7. They had a lost their last 2 against Baltimore and Minnesota, but they're going to get back over the win column. They're going to be 7-7 after the week. Behind them are the Chargers, who are 5-7-1. They have 3 consecutive forced wins. They're going to be 8-7-1 come week 18. So they're a team to be on the lookout for. They still got they still have the Denver Broncos at some point remaining, but they got 3 forced wins coming, so they still have a legit shot of getting into the playoffs as well. The Miami Dolphins, they are currently 5-8. This is their final user game. Let's get this out the way. If the Dolphins win this game of the week, they will be 9-8. When this regular season comes to an end, they will be right in the midst of the playoffs. They could make the playoffs, depending on the forced win situation. If you're new to this and you are not watching from the Madden stream, this is what is called a forced win situation. After a certain point in the regular season, if you are in a position to tank, then you will no longer have games that you'll be playing. You'll be preparing for the draft. That's basically how we do it. For anybody that's watching on YouTube that does not understand how this works. Last but not least is the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, they are 5-8, but there is still a shot. That hunt is still wide open. So, buddy, you got to lock in. You still got the hardest schedule remaining. This is going to be battle tested. You can do it. But let's go to those division races. I think all those divisions are over, basically. Let's go to the North first. As far as the North, the Browns are going to win the division, as I mentioned already. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be the best wild card team at the moment. The Pittsburgh Steelers, that's about coach Brian Gordon. They're going to have the number 7 seed at the current moment. And then the Bengals, like I said, these 2 are still in the wild card race. They're not done. Coach Buddy Bucket, Coach Brian Gordon, you're still in the race. Lock in, get them dubs. Buddy said it's hard out here for a Bengals right now. It's tough, man. You got a very tough road left. So the South, we're gonna just skim over them real quick. I'll just show that Anthony's won a division once again. Rest of the division is in tank mode. We're gonna skip past them. Next, let's go to the East. The East is over as well. Anthony and the Bills are going to win that division. They'll have at least 13 wins at some point. That division's over as well. You got Coach Ryan Burns, as we mentioned. He is in great position for the number 6 seed. Yeah, he's in great position for the number 6 seed for the playoffs. Like I said, the Dolphins have 3 forced wins coming up after this game, win or lose, against the New York Jets. Now, if they lose, I don't think they have a shot to make the playoffs, but they still will have 3 forces to get to 8-9, which would still give them somewhat of an outside shot. As far as the West, let's go to the West. Let's just cut to the chase. Coach KD Bailey has locked this division up. It doesn't matter that this doesn't show on here yet. That division's over. Plain and simple. And the other team that still have a legit shot of making the playoffs is the Chargers at 5-7-1. So that's the last. So those are the teams in the hunt There is no divisional race like it was in the NFC. Let's go take a look and see what the remaining schedules are for those teams that are still in the playoff hunt. Let's see who comes up first. Let's see who's the closest one. The Steelers. Let's go down to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will have the next two games as forced wins. Then they have two slugfest contests at the end with the Browns and the Ravens. Them two games are for the wild card. So they're going to be 8-7 going into them last two games. They got to win them games or split one of them games, and they probably be in the playoffs. Let's go to the next team on the board. Let's go to the Jets. Now, again, as I said, if the Jets win this game coming up, that number 6 seed is over. They will get a force next week against John Carroll and the Jags, so it doesn't even matter. If they lose, they'll be at 9 wins. They're still probably going to be in good position to win the wild card spot at number 6, but they got 2 tough games remaining. They still got the Buccaneers at home, and then they got the Bills at home. They got two of the best teams in the league last 2 games of the year. So it's imperative they win this game. They are in great spot to get the number 6 seed. So good luck to those guys. Let's go to the Dolphins. Why am I still saying that the Dolphins have a legit shot of the playoffs? Now, after this game with the Dolphins will win the last 3 games. So at worst, they will have 8 wins. If they win this game against the Jets, they're 9-8, which will put them in great position to challenge somebody for that number 7 spot in the AFC playoff picture. This is the unfortunate part about forced wins, but they earned it. Good luck to them. Let's go to the Chargers. Jay Lee said, what are the offensive and defensive rankings? I'll go to that as soon as I'm done knocking the schedule out, just to give you guys a stat update. Okay. The Chargers have 3 forced wins coming up, actually. And then they got a game against the Denver Broncos week 17. Again, like I said, they're going to be at worst 8. They're going to be at worst with a record of 8-9. I want to say it's 8-9-1. No, 8-8-1. 8-8-1 because they had a tie. So that's them. Cleveland. Shout out to Coach Shaq Washington. Let's get ready to go to the Browns. Let me scroll down to them. Browns got a force against the Raiders this week, and then the last 3, they're going to have a chance to shake up the NFC North race. They go to Green Bay. Then they got Coach Brian Gordon and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they got Coach Buddy Buckets and the Cincinnati Bengals. That's their last couple of games entering the postseason race. Denver. Let's go to Coach KD Bailey and the Broncos. Okay, got Buddy Buckets and the Bengals at home today. Then they got a force against the Raiders next week. Then they got the Chargers. They got the Chargers out in LA. That's going to be another game. This game, the division is over because they got 2 forced wins coming up. They're going to be at 11 wins. That division is over. It's just all about them trying to get seeding and the division. Buffalo. Now, Buffalo is still in the midst of the number 1 seed race. So that's why this is so important. After this Panther game, they got 2 forced wins coming up. So that's going to help them big time in the pursuit of the number 1 seed. They got Panthers and Jets week 18 remaining. That's their remaining road to the playoffs as far as the number 1 seed. So as you saw, the Browns and Bills are locked in a battle for the number 1 seed. Now, as far as last but not least, the Cincinnati Bengals. Last 4 games at Broncos, at we got a game against the Ravens. They got a force against the Chiefs, and then they got Shaq Washington and the Browns in Cleveland. Tough road, yes, but hey, lock in, buddy. Here's your shot. Lock in. Okay, those are all the schedule updates. Now, one of the users asked about the statistics. Let's go to the stat leader so you guys get a chance to see who's leading where. We're going to go to the offensive stats first. As far as yardage per game, the number one offense in the league is the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2 seed is the Dallas Cowboys. Number 2 offense. My bad, guys. Number 3 offense is the Indianapolis Colts, which is pretty impressive. Number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the 4th best offense in the league. The number 5 offense in the league are the Minnesota Vikings. Number 6 offense in the league is the Cleveland Browns. Number 7 offense in the league is the Buffalo Bills. The number 8 offense, waiting on them to go down, is the Chicago Bears. Chicago's having a horrible season, but they've been balling on offense yardage-wise. Okay, let's go to number 9. Number 9 is Jaylee and the Rams. They're the 9th offense in the league. And last but not least, number 10 is Coach Darrell Mason and the New York Giants. He got the 10th best offense in the league in yardage per game. Now, I'm going to just go off the top 5 off rush pass offense. Top 5 pass offenses right now. I'm going to wait the updates onto the screen. Number 1 is the Ravens. They got the number 1 pass offense in the league. Number 2 is the Colts. The Colts got Jacoby Brissett in the NFL MVP race. That's going to be a race to watch out for. Number 3 is the Bills. They're number 3 with Coach Anthony P. and Josh Allen. Number 4, once again, the 1-13 Fitzy Jesus Bears. As bad as their season been, they've put up numbers. They got the 4th best. And number 5 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as far as rushing. Passing, excuse me. Now, at the moment, let's go to let's change it up. The Minnesota Vikings have the number 1 rush offense in the league. They're the only team over 2,000 at the moment. Let's go to number 2. New England's tanking, so we're going to skip past them. They don't count. Number 3 is the Dallas Cowboys with about 1,748 rushing yards. Number 4. Go down. Let's go down, guys. Come on, let's go. Number 4 is Green Bay. They have 1,673. And then number 5 is the Carolina Panthers. They have Saquon Barkley out there, so you should expect that offense to put up numbers in that rushing attack. For the top passing offenses, scoring offenses. Let's go to that. Number 1 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 45 points a game. Number 2, as you can see on the board, is gonna go. I'm gonna go a little fast to the things and go down. Baltimore's number 2, 43 points per game. Number 3 is Coach Shaq Washington and the Cleveland Browns. They have averaged 41.6 points per game. Number 4 is Jay Lee and the Rams, 41.2 points per game. Behind them are the Colts at 39.3 points per game. Also behind them, the Minnesota Vikings with 38.9 points per game. You got the Bills with 38.3 points per game on this season. You got the San Francisco 49ers with 34.5 points per game. Pretty impressive. And then the New York Giants with 34.3. So that's enough on the offense. Let's go to the defense. Wait to switch to the defense. The number 1 defense in the league is the Buffalo Bills. They haven't even given up 4,000 yards yet. They will this week, but that's impressive to go that long without giving up that many yards. The Rams is the number 2 defense in the league. Behind them are the Arizona Cardinals. And it's Coach Tevin Ratcliffe. Behind them are the Carolina Panthers. Then you got 2 teams in the same division. You got Brian Gordon and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And no, Levi is not getting free. You got the Bengals behind the Steelers with a top 10 defense. Then you got Seattle up there in the top 10. Who's giving the most yards? Hold on. I'll go to it in just a moment. It's probably going to be me. The Denver Broncos is up in the top 10 with the Chargers in the race as well. And then you got Washington football team and San Fran to round out your top 10. Somebody asked who gave it the most yards. And of course, it's the Detroit Lions. They to come up on the screen. But I am right behind them. Fitzy Jesus. Your number, you're right. You're in front of me. I've given up the second most. As you see, everybody airing out on me. I got the worst secondary in the league. We're going to leave that alone. We'll leave that alone. I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, let's go to the top 10 scoring defenses in the league. Number 1 is the Rams. They have only given up 264 points a game. They're only all season long. The Buffalo Bills are number 2. Carolina and Denver are tied for number 3. San Francisco is number 5 because those 2 are tied. Then you got the Colts up in that top 10 with Seattle right behind the Colts and the Giants behind the Seahawks. And then you got the Browns and Bucks to round out that top 10. Now, just to give y'all some statistic looks, who's had the most sacks in the league? Let's go over that. Buffalo has had the most sacks at 47. The Rams and Colts are tied at number 2 with 39. The New York Giants have 33 sacks on the regular season. The Eagles have 31. The Chiefs have 30. And then you got the Broncos, Vikings, and Washington football team. All that has had 3 consecutive. They all are in the top 10 as well. So those are some of your top 10 in sacks. Let's go to picks. Interception race. Now, this is always fun to see. You got Ravens and the Seahawks tied at number 1. And Jalen's giving a score update. We are tied at 7 out there in Seattle. Thank you, sir. We have both teams tied at 41. The Bucks are number 3 with 40 picks. You got the Rams at number 4. You got the Bills at number 5. The Bills are actually tied with the Panthers, so they make them both number 5. You got the Niners at 7. Let's go down. Let's wait for they come up. You got the Browns at 8. And then the Eagles and Giants round up at 9 and 10. So that's your top 10 in regards to that. Let's see. Okay, that's enough for the statistics. Let's go to the yearly awards. What the races are looking like right now. Just to give you guys an outlook, this is going to be the last thing I just cover before I had to head out to work and get ready to get the rest of this week out the way. Colin Kaepernick leads the MVP race. Let me tell you guys, he has 50 touchdowns, 5 picks all season long, and an 82% completion percentage. He clearly is leading in the MVP race. He should be. The top number 2 is Cam Akers out of the New York Giants. Outstanding. Cam Akers having a big year. He has 20-plus rushing touchdowns and 1,400 yards. Then, of course, you got Lamar Jackson coming in at number 3 with Ezekiel Elliott and Jacoby Brissett at 4 and 5, respectfully. So again, it's going to be a race to watch, but I think Kaepernick's going to clinch his first ever MVP title. Coach of the year, let's get ready to let it switch over. Shane Trotter is leading the race with Kyle Shanahan at number 2. Robert Salah, we're going to give it to Ryan. If Ryan wins, listen, Ryan deserves Coach of the Year. I don't care. Shane, you're going to get it on Madden, but Ryan, you deserve Coach of the Year. And then you got the Browns and the Rams behind them at 4 and 5. And that's just, let's go look. Let's take a quick, we're going to go over quickly. We'll do this quick. Offensive Player of the Year right now, leading is Kaepernick. He got Lamar Jackson and Jacoby Brissett at 2 and 3 behind him. That's going to be the race. Defensive Player of the Year. Now, this is going to shock you when it comes up on the screen. The leader is Brian Allen, the free safety who's been in free agency. He's always in free agency. Anthony stole him from me, by the way, if you're watching the stream. With Chris Westry at number 2. You got Denzel Ward at 3 with Micah Hyde and Tankersley at 4 and 5. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Let's get over there. Chuba Hubbard is leading the race at number 1 with Zach Wilson, Anthony Schwartz, Michael Strahan, and Jamar Chase all round out the top 5. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Is going to go to Devon Diablo, Andre Cisco's number 2, Patrick Surtain's number 3. You got Stevens at number 4 with I'm not going to even attempt his name. You see his name on here. He's at number 5. We'll go deeper into the best quarterback stuff as the season gets closer to an end, but we're going to go to the NFC. Look at that race. As far as Defensive Rookie of the Year, let's go to that on the NFC side. Odafe Oweh is leading. Not only does he lead this race as far as Defensive Rookie of the Year, he leads the league in sacks on the game. Behind him is J.C. Horn, Azeez Ojulari. Send Azeez, by the way, Darrell, he's supposed to be a Minnesota Viking. We'll talk about that off stream. Number 4 is Micah Parsons, and then Derek Forrest is number 5. Let's go to the Offensive Rookie of the Year. We got Elijah Mitchell leading as far as the Rams with Trey Lance and Jalen Waddle at 2 and 3. You got Najee Harris at number 4 for the Vikings, and you got Felipe Franks at number 5 for the Rams. Now, let's go to Defensive Player of the Year. If you're watching, you're about to be hyped because we've been talking about this. Right now, the leader is Fred Warner for the Defensive Player of the Year. Number 2 is Perry Nickerson. He has 11 interceptions for the Vikings. He's the only thing out there working for them. Number 3 is Isaiah Simmons of the Eagles. Number 4 is Logan Ryan of the Buccaneers. And number 5 is Troy Apke for the Washington football team. Offensive Player of the Year. Let's get over here. Right now, Cam Akers, who's number 2 in the MVP race, is number 1 in this. Number 2 is Ezekiel Elliott, who's having a solid year. Number 3 is Saquon Barkley. Number 4 is Will Fuller of the Minnesota Vikings. Number 5 is Chris Carson of the Seahawks. And that look like that's the race. So, yeah, that's the end of that. So, let's go back to the playoff picture. I'm going to give you guys one more look at the playoff picture before we come off this stream. One final look. This is the current picture. You've had a breakdown of everything to take place. So here we go. This is going to change as soon as we advance. I'm looking forward to the next show. So, guys, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Get them games in. Advances by tomorrow. But, of course, you guys are so great. You're going to get in today. And if you're watching the stream, you're in the league, don't forget to send your +1 speed in for your guy 90 and under and a +1 throw power to show my appreciation. keep being the elite guys all in. We will be out, and I will talk to you guys later in the chat and on the stream next week for everybody that's tuning in. Let's see, buddy. What's going on, bro? He said, appreciate the stream, Nate. No problem. Hey, I can't do it without you guys. So y'all guys have a good rest of the afternoon.